Hot 10, Hot Private. This is the War on Comics. I'm Colin.
I'm Omar.
This is the first time you're seeing us. I'll break kayfabe. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, that's what they call it. Kids are calling it.
We have been recording quite a few episodes. We have a backlog, but we thought, you know what? Let's just clear the palette here. We'll start new. No baggage, anything like that. So this is the first time you're going to be seeing us that we know of.
And probably at the height. This is the heat, right?
We are at the apex of our powers. I would say probably we've reached like super genius level.
I think so.
Yeah, master craft. What's the 10,000 hours thing?
We're past that.
We're past that. We're super experts. So you're watching right now two super experts,
supreme,
who have been exchanging comics and talking about them for a while. We're going to talk about two today. What we got? This is the one you gave me. We got Punks Get Cut.
Punks Get Cut
from Jay Howell.
Jay Howell. And we have Shit Is Real, which was Colin's pick by Aisha, Franz.
Yeah, so I think this is the rare, both comics being in the 21st century.
Yeah.
So we're going modern, we're giving you something relatable. Look, this is in your time. What do you think is a theme between these two comics?
I think just having like angst, like digital and like angst in the digital era.
Angst in the digital era. So I guess we're going to look in these two comics from that lens. It's an interesting subject to explore. Are you angsty? I imagine you are. You're watching a comic book podcast.
It's called The War on Comics.
Yeah. You see that aggression. It spoke to you. And now you're watching us speak to you. Let's crack into some comics, shall we?
Let's hit it.
We're in?
We're in.
Okay.
So what do we got here, Colin? This was your pick this round.
Yeah, I think you pitched the idea of like digital angst or the digital age as a concept. And I guess to me, this was a comic I read a while back that just kind of stood out in terms of general quality, I guess.
Yeah. It
was just something that a very well-crafted comic that I enjoyed, and I felt very modern to me. I think I don't know. Do you think most comics readers are reading like older comics, like pre-internet era comics?
No, even people that I've like met in the comics like shops lately are everyone's coming from web comics.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a lot of Drawn and Quarterly is a more modern I guess like publisher, and I don't see a lot of these homies grabbing stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think the thing with webcomics is you do develop like very like intimate relationship with that comic. That I've seen at least. Like Homestuck fans aren't like branching out and picking up, Robert Crumb or Will Eisner books. It doesn't seem like you backtrack from what's the bomb-ass one, Penny Arcade.
Oh my God,
yeah, I don't think people are backtracking from that into other comics. I think they just like that, or maybe like other web comics. And I do think Drawn and Quarterly does a pretty good job of getting those web comics published onto the physical page. I think a lot of their stuff is kind of poached from a digital world that I see like on the library shelves at least, which is smart, obviously, because that's like if you're going to publish something that has a built-in clientele, right?
And it's almost like the new street level,
right?
In a sense, like, because I mean, I feel like they're kind of obscure compared to stuff that you would find at a true blue comic store,
right? Yeah, I don't, and it's a strange world to me because I don't think there's any web comics that I read, and there's a few that I've read that are like pretty good. Or worth a chuckle.
Yeah.
But it has that like disposable kind of quality to it where it's like, and then you move on.
Yeah.
But that's what like Mother Goose and Grimm was. When you were a kid, you would just read the Sunday Funnies. So it's not like as a medium, it's like besmirched somehow. But obviously, to me, a comic like this speaks more to my DNA. Everyone I talk to, all my friends and everything, they're like kind of classic comic people. So I don't think a lot of like nerdy comic guys are necessarily reading something like this either, because there's no real history to it or accolades. I mean, there's so many of these books that come out that are just sort of on their own,
Yeah.
But that said,
this comic is beautiful.
I think it is, and it's stylist. Like the art style is very primitive or crude. It's not that technical, but it still feels very tactile. At the same time, I think what I appreciated about it is it's like very tactile visually. It's rooted in like traditional comics visuals, but like all of this stuff, all the digital imagery and all that, it's like kind of connects to that theme of the digital age, like you're talking about. Is opens up where they're trying to get into this door, but her key code has expired because her lizard boyfriend kind of broke up with her.
Turtle boy.
Yeah. And I don't know, all this like
that was sick.
Yeah, the art piece that she gives her, this is very like, young couple kind of art, which is, I don't know, I guess kind of amusing way to get the title from, and gives her this, little robot toy. Again, all these kind of tchotchkes, as you say, that kind of clutter up young, broke people's apartments.
Exactly. So, and like, there's so much of that energy in here where it's like the sci-fi element, even though they kind of live in this like futuristic world. Like I think this would be probably like 40, 50 years into our future if it's like on Earth.
Yeah, as far as how things work. Or it's just, I think she's from Germany, so maybe it's just, how they're living over there. But like, it still feels like fashion feels this way. This feels like you're in a fashionable city. And this I love this cafe. Do we skip the cat heads already? Yeah. So they're getting, all the waitresses have these giant cat heads, and the menus are all digital. Again, this is just like the kind of, it's lousy with all the frustrations that come with just living in the world today. And I don't know, again, as like someone who reads a bunch of old comics mostly, you don't really get that, I mean, there's timeless qualities to, like, let's just say old Tales from the Crypt comics or something. Yeah. But they're not mucking around with digital menus and whatnot. And likewise, I think, to speak to the like web comic element that you mentioned earlier, I feel like if you read a comic about, two Twitch streamers and are hanging out with each other, it's like so hyper current in its references.
A little too current,
Yeah, that maybe it's like a kind of above the curve that I'm living in.
It's also like insulating if it's a little too deep and not maybe like, this is an exploration on somebody, on a person's actual, like, I think, depressive episode almost.
Yeah, or like, a part of your life where you're just totally lost. You quit your job, you're broken, you're broken up. And there's always going to be that where these moments where you're, lives are always going to have that in them, regardless of what era it is. There's, in a weird way, always going to be a little opportunity to tell a Holden Caulfield kind of story. I don't know if this is that per se. It's not necessarily angsty for angsty's sake. I think you can kind of sympathize with why the character.
For sure. I was going to say there is definitely a through line to what like the root cause of the issues are, I guess, or like it's just in this part of her life. It's just everyone is kind of, I don't know, there's like this itchiness with everybody in this kind of world, like how you would feel in this world, I guess. Like it's this kind of technology is, at the same time as it's connecting us and making things easier, it is making things harder in different ways.
And I think that's what I appreciate about the story, is that in addition to the, I just broke up and quit my job and I don't know what I'm doing, there's also just a nightmare of the modern world. And that's not really something that I see conveyed well. This is I dog-eared this chunk because this is sort of the page that made me fall in love with the comic. Not necessarily this page here. There's just like diva singing a very funny song. Where my fat ass bitches in the club, and it's this girl doing this dance, and then you turn the page and it's just this girl watching
skinny bitches,
diva performance, and she's just watching it on her phone in her bed, and like, this is what I'm talking about. This is very modern and also very timeless, and I think that's like a very difficult kind of storytelling to craft, and it's sort of where my ears really perked up, or my eyes perked up, however you want to call it, in reading this, where I was like, okay, there's something kind of unique to this story. And then on top of that, there's also these surreal elements, like here she is going into one of these dreamlike states. I think you like the dreamlike stuff. If I'm reading you properly,
I fucking love this shit.
You're a fan of surreal storytelling.
I love this like nebulous dream world that she's making here. This is like exactly this is a sweet spot for me for sure.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I'm like, you pick up on these things in time. Like, this is. Do we have something Lynchian? Ooh, Omar's gonna go off on this.
Oh man,
it's an unreal reality. We got some surrealism in that building.
This is the real life.
So here's our protagonist kind of coming into contact with this fish. This is kind of unimportant. This isn't like
it big go anywhere, and it's not bad though. It adds to the flavor of the story. But it also doesn't really do anything for the story other than set a tone, And
I would say,
this is kind of cool stuff here.
Yeah, these black border ones are like the full-on kind of fantasy world tales where she's in this like dystopic wasteland, and people are getting her ready to mobilize and get out. I love these like ninja dudes.
So sick.
But I guess really the main thing that happens in the story is she accidentally knocks a hole in the wall in the room and kind of peeks into her neighbor's. She peeks into her her neighbor's room, and I think her neighbor, if I'm not getting it twisted, I think her neighbor was the one that broke up with the guy that she's interested. So she's somewhat skinwalking her neighbor as she starts to move into her place, which I think. Plays, if anything, to the envy of like just modern living. To go back to that digital angst issue, where it's like it's one thing when you look on social media and see everyone looking well, but it's another thing when it's like that person is right next door,
assuming the identity of another person.
And it's like in a way we kind of do that. We buy what the people we think are beautiful wear, and we try to get a little closer to the people who we think are cool by consumption or whatever. But this girl's sort of like taking this next step further and just moving into her damn house.
I think it's in the next sequence that she invites her friend that she had a meeting with.
I just thought this was a fun sequence of this guy and her kind of flirting and making a connection, and then she goes in the room and in the bathroom, and he's just like full on railing this other girl, and she's like, can't really be upset with it, but is also like, well, that's done.
And I think it causes her to bounce.
And it's again, I think in a lesser storyteller, that would be a big crying, screaming moment or something, but it's just sort of treated with the kind of objectivity of something.
It's like that understated kind of tone where you're not being spoon-fed as a reader.
And it takes a lot of craft to be able to kind of convey that coherently, and I don't know, in a way I think makes you relate to the character more, since they're not like giving you clear boundaries as to how they're reacting. You're sort of impressing your own feelings on her experiencing this, but she links up with this. This is the guy she's been quasi stalking, or
somehow being in the same spaces as he is,
right? And he has this pet shop, so she gets to kind of fulfill that dream of getting the
fantasy,
getting the fish,
right here,
right? So she gets to buy the fish from him at the pet store, and ultimately drop him off at the. Kind of sneak him into the her lunch spot, which is amusing to me, and I think this is a good way to communicate texting in a way that I think I don't know. I feel like a lot of pretty much storytelling in general now, I don't think is quite figured out how to convey digital communication.
Yeah.
You know, and every movie you see will have a different gimmick to get around it.
They'll try a different vibe every time, like almost like as I like the ones where, you know, it's if you think of like Frodo writing the letter or something, like it's so epic crafting the message and stuff like that. But you can't really capture that with texting. I don't know what that is, or emailing.
Yeah, I think like, you know, you watch older movies and it's like someone opens a letter and you see them looking at the letter, and then the voiceover is like, I hope this letter finds you well. I've shot myself. And then they express like, oh my God, I'm just kidding. I didn't shoot myself. And then they laugh. It goes on, you know.
It is that.
There's a voiceover to it, and it communicates to the viewer that they're reading a letter and the information that's on the letter. But with texting, I don't think we've quite figured it out. So this works as well as any. I think obviously with comics, it's a little bit more forgiving on account of your still reading at least.
And it's like intertwined with the story, whereas like I think you would get on other stuff, like you would just get a full page almost of the text, or like it just wouldn't work. They did it really well.
Tactful. Drops these the foreign fish out here, which I just want to say, don't do that.
Yeah, please.
I don't know much about fish, but I know that can't be right. But
and also, you're fucking up the ecosystem situation.
I don't know, but let's see here. I'll just kind of see if we can flip ahead. But she gets into this lady's apartment, and you know,
finding the key outside, I think.
Right, and it's now she's just kind of living through this person who I guess has her life a little bit more together, you know, and there's some like bits about her getting invitations to the parties that she shouldn't belong to.
Right.
It kind of goes on and on.
The painting thing. This is I think the first time we see the painting that she falls in love with, and I think this is it. She kind of like there's like this whole B story of her in this painting where she just like faces it, and I don't know what the message is, and also she just like fucking makes herself at home.
Yeah, getting cozy.
It's just so cozy, yeah.
And it's like, you know, like I said, it's, you know, if you wanted to portray her as a psychopath of sorts, you know, I think you could, but I guess it's a much more interesting story to me that it's not there's no real malice in this. It's not pointed in any direction or real benefit. It's just, I think
it doesn't have a creepy tone either, really.
Yeah, I mean
apart from what is happening.
Yeah, it is creepy, but it's not. Well, you know, I don't know. I guess you tell us this. If this same story is a guy with a girl next door neighbor, it's veers into some gross story. But since it's girl on girl crime, it's like as a guy reader, you just have to be like, all right,
you know what? Good for her.
Go off.
Good for her.
Yeah.
This whole sequence is pretty wild.
No, the fish are bullying him. I don't know why she chose to draw this fish so ugly, but
this guy. It's like the you're veering into lovable,
right?
Ugly, you know.
So yeah, she's kind of seeing. I don't know, that maybe in her dreamlike state, she sees that the fish ain't really getting along like she thought. Oh, look at that! Not so different, her and the fish.
Yeah, really seeing herself in that goldfish. And this is so wild. So she's watching TV on the couch of the homegirl's apartment.
Yeah, just getting kind of getting further cozy. And are we going to the art party now?
I think we are headed there. Yes. So shit is real. And I think the guy weaves in and out of the story.
Yeah, here. I mean, again, I suppose it's supposed to be a story about that, you know, about her and this guy.
This part was wild. Is this them coming down from drugs or something that?
Or, you know, a little tipsy or something, you know, it definitely feels that way. Yeah, but it's like, that's, you know, if you either do this or you make little stars and
exactly,
you know, burp,
spell it out,
make them burp or whatever. More fish stuff.
Yeah, so here they're linked up.
I like that. That's a good detail that chick with all the shit tattooed on her fingers.
She's the artist, right?
Yeah, you gotta watch out for that, everyone. You gotta watch out for that. Great art party too. I mean, this is like, if you want to portray being a fish out of water of sorts while all the wacky stuff goes on, and maybe you're a little tipsy. Yeah, this is how
overstimulated vibes.
But yeah, here's her and the fella.
This part was having a conversation. Like, I've been on this end. Just completely out of my element. Like,
hearing
it. So he's totally hung up on who she's kind of
pretending to
like
be,
single white femaling, I guess. Right?
Yeah, or that's her perception of it at least. But at the same time,
start hooking up.
Nature takes its course.
Mm-hmm.
It is I don't know. I guess there's something.
Oh, sick.
What did I watch recently? For the Love of the Game.
Oh, sick.
Kevin Costner movie.
Hell yeah.
And it's like such a saccharine kind of story. Like, there's a little bit of charm to it, and that it's so like straight-faced. I think filmmakers like that just see the world sincerely in those kind of through that kind of lens have some kind of appeal, especially in such a post-irony poisoned world that we're in. It's nice to just see someone sincerely telling a story where it's the teary-eyed lady and the guy who's just like, you know what you mean to me? Whatever it is.
It's got heart, God damn it.
I was dumb. I made a mistake. Well, that mistake just cost you. It cost me everything. Whatever it is, Yeah. But, this is sort of, it's also kind of impossible to take those kind of rom-coms seriously, whereas this is the sort of story that's I don't know, has enough grit to it to appeal to me, at least. Or
it does have like a little bit of that sincere bitterness kind of thing,
right?
Like bittersweetness or something like that.
But it's not especially a cynical story.
No,
I wouldn't say
it's cynical.
There is like
this whole section
love story underneath it, but it is I don't know. It never veers into saccharine. Whatever ratio they got here, this is the right ratio.
This is the super sci-fi section.
Yeah. Here's your Eraserhead bit where she gives birth to the monster egg.
So wild.
And just nothing else.
Off.
And no follow up.
Nothing.
No, we get it though.
The dreams were sketch.
And then inevitably, is anything important?
I don't think so. Right. I think they're moving in together, I think.
Or
her and her buddy.
Yeah, we're kind of at this. She's got a straight gig now.
Yes, her friend hooked her up with a gig.
Heaven knows she's miserable now. And then, more life in the city. Working girls. I don't know. It just feels so.
The fish tank is dried up and gone.
It feels so modern, like it's such a modern kind of story, and it's just not too often, and you get to see that good cartooning, like I'm kind
just of right too.
We're kind of going beat for beat on the story. I don't know why that is, but like it is really good cartooning. These are good outfits, good expressions.
That's what I love about this. Actually, the style, like Neo Memphis style or something.
It's like the everyone is like fashionable in their own way. Like it feels so I don't know, legitimate. The art places seem like art places, I guess. You'll get there here eventually, folks. But where we're chopping up that Ditko question book, where they're at the museum, and it's like, this is a portrayal of the art scene by someone who has never been to an art show. This very much feels like someone who's been to a lot of art shows. There's a authenticity in the
even the portrayal of the kind of people that go to the parties and
they're not
that kind of stuff.
They're like obviously kooky, but it's not spiteful.
It's characters.
Without going into the world of caricature. Like, and this is just this portrayal of these art people is just so
this is cool,
appealing. It's
all really tastefully done without being like too primitive looking, and it's done. All the science that went into this, all the sci-fi elements are like they're working well. I dig these elements of the comic, and you kind of feel like I mentioned earlier, there's like a horse girl if you guys have seen that movie. Kind of like a smiley face from like Gregor Rocky, like this detached like countdown of something, but you don't know what's the thing is, like what the impending doom, or if there's any doom happening. It's just
there's suspense with the lady coming back to town and finding her out and getting her in trouble, and and the relationship thing with the guy. Like there are plot lines. It's not like just vibes.
Sci-fi. Yeah, there's things happening.
Yeah, for sure. There's stuff plotted out. Here's this relationship with this guy. I don't know. Maybe this is like my bias or something, but I have a real soft spot for like romantic stories that don't tie up neatly,
Yeah.
There's something about like the real life of it all that connects with me. Like and this is just, I don't know, a sweet kind of storytelling. Here we get the little influence of the lizard guy that we see elsewhere, all the lizard men from the dream sequences, but, not really mentioned. Or I guess she sees them and is reminded of maybe sisters before misters, isn't that what they say, right?
Yeah.
Because she kind of makes a choice. Her friend is out of it, and she can, kind of go and hang out with this dude she's been after, and she instead chooses to take care of her friend. So I don't know if you call that like a moral choice necessarily, but kind of shows where her priorities are. And it's not necessarily like a lockstep arc. Like you didn't see her be not a good friend earlier, and now she's a good friend. That's again how I think a hackier writer would handle it. Yeah, like that's a proper textbook character arc. But I don't know. I guess it's still
like washing her clothes and stuff. I think she's like helping out. To your point, I don't think that this is like her redemption arc at all. I think it's just showing the humanity of it. Like, she's now, kind of getting more grounded because they're back at her apartment.
Right.
And
as the artsy lady comes back, she realizes best way to end this.
Pretty sick.
Good one to end on.
Yeah.
Where's my damn key card?
It's so good.
And we don't need to, we don't need the coming home 2 days earlier, seeing the place wrecked, having to clean up before the lady gets there. It's like, it's just not the point of the story. And you can have a story with those kind of thematic elements of like a romance and clubs and arts and jobs, and have all those elements without necessarily needing to tie everything up in such a cliched kind of manner. I don't know. It stuck out to me. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm a little, I don't know, sentimental or corny with this stuff. Yeah. Like if a story speaks to me, but you're co-signing this one.
I really enjoyed it. I do like that it has a quality that's like you're saying, not ethereal. What is the term? It's like it's broken in just the right format of reality. And I do like the human element of it, where there's like there's actual real kind of relationships going on here. They're not like they're not soapy. They're not soap opera. And the interactions are, some of them are really minimal. Some of them are like really like, oh shit, some drama's happening now.
Right.
But it all kind of works. There's no need for this intense storytelling when I think that the message is clearer when you're not pandering to your reader, I think. Yeah,
and I would say there's kind of a little more plot wise to it than like proper slice of life or like comfy storytelling,
Yeah.
Like absolutely. I wouldn't quite call it like cozy. And it is a little like horrifying in the way that the modern world is horrifying. I think that horror is properly conveyed, and not really in a melodramatic way so much as just I don't know, looking at it head on. Dare I say, shit is real.
It's right there on the cover.
Yeah.
Shit got real. Shit is real.
But yeah, okay. So I'm not crazy. It's a decent comic.
It was great. I've never heard of the.
Yeah, no, I've never read anything else from the author.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
This is just one of those books that you just see, you pick up, you flip around, you're like, all right, this is good. This is nice. You take it home, And that's the end of the story. It's not part of a deep catalog, but hey, to our viewers watching this, if you got any recommendations from Aisha, Franz, let us know, because I'd like to read some more of this stuff.
I'd like to feature more from this work. And as the series goes along, you've been showing me a good amount of drawn and quarterly stuff that I'm into, man.
Yeah, no, they're like, I don't know. You don't want to be a brand whore, right? But it's like, obviously, I think between the two of us, if we're brand whores for anyone, it's Fantagraphics, right?
Definitely.
So you're a little bit of a fanboy, and that is 100%. I will pick up anything that I see with a Fantagraphics logo. Yeah. At least look at it. If I don't buy it, I'll peruse it, and that's just been my guiding light since I was like in high school. So that's it. Drawn and quarterly, I wouldn't say is on that level, and there's not like enough works that I would be like, yeah, this is we have Fantagraphics at home, or number two or anything. But don't sleep on Drawn and Quarterly. I see the D&Q, I'm picking it up, I'm checking it out. That is, to me, a stamp of approval.
Yeah, man. And
there's a lot of like boutique labels or publishers, I guess you would say, where it's like, what's this? Maybe, like, it's
on the fence.
It won't be like I'm not going to look at this, but it is like I'm gonna give it more than a couple pages until I start to see it until I start to see the flaws jump out, because I'd say there's a lot of like 4th, 5th tier publishers where it's like, you guys mostly do junk. This is mostly bad. And Drawn and Quarterly is nowhere near that. That is not. I'm not besmirching that good.
There's like a bar that I think that they set.
Their D&Q is well friggin' above that.
Yeah.
So let's not take another old guard name though. Last Gasp, man. I was surprised to see that logo on a comic. That stuff. Let me tell you, as a young man flipping through the Last Gasp catalog as a kid.
Yeah.
That was when I was like officially out of my depth. Like, it's like a gateway and you're a kid.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about like a pre-digital age, it's like, you're just trying to kind of figure out the world. It's like, oh, milk and cheese. I can figure out milk and cheese. Man. This is black and white comics. I can get this. I'm 12. I know what's going on. And then you go, a little bit deeper into like, Peter Baggs stuff was like the ultimate gateway, because it's like, oh, it's cartoony. Their eyes bulge out and everything. And, maybe some of these relationship things are a little like beyond necessarily what I'm going to experience.
Actual characters in there too are I'm not
gonna be holding a girl's hand for another 6 years. So I don't know about that. But then you get the Last Gasp catalog, and you see what is it? She-male bikers from hell, and what? Like all the Bondage Fairies stuff, which I actually technically though, I think Bondage Fairies was Fantagraphic stuff. But Last Gasp to me was always like, oh boy, this is like kind of this is the deep end. I was like, I should not be seeing this, but I don't think this is not necessarily on that level. I felt it was a little tame, kind of.
It is, dude. I brought this up because in the digital era. So I first came across Punks Get Cut from the blog that this guy did, and this was because this guy worked on Nickelodeon shows. Yeah,
the Sanjay and Craig.
Yeah, like some big time.
And as soon as you see the art style, I guess I'll skip to some of the more like
I guess Bob's
stuff.
Burgers is
Bob's Burgers is the big one, but like you see these kind of character design, and it's like. Yeah, that's Bob's Burgers for sure.
Definitely.
And the Sanjay and Craig art style, I suppose.
And I brought it to the table because I think that this has like the back of the classroom quality where you're just kind of fucking around.
Yeah.
So that you're like carving shit into the desk, and it has that energy with it still being like, I mean, he's advertising his website.
Right.
It's in the digital era, but it still carries that energy, and specifically. So I'm just gonna flip through some stuff. Specifically, I wanted to show this comic.
Yeah, this is definitely the more like comic part of it, because these were published in zines, and this is like, I was reading this and I was like, okay, this is where like our this age gap relationship we're in, you and me. This is where it starts to show, because like my world of zines is like fanzines, like, so like as in
like Maximum Rock and Roll.
Of course,
maybe?
like I'm such a fan of any subject that I need to make a zine about that subject, with essentially the idea of spreading information about it, you know?
Like the fandom part, kind of.
Yes, like even in like, old comics fanzines where it was just like, look we found out the guy who draws the good duck comics, Or, like that's where the furry fandom or furry community lifestyle spawns from. Yeah, it's from like, hey guys, don't you like looking at cute animals? Here's a bunch of drawings of cute animals, and here's interviews with the animators and stuff, and it's like ultimately a way to consolidate and spread information in the pre-digital era. And I don't know, I grew up reading zines, of course, and have a connection to them in that regard. But like, those are the zines I grew up reading, seeing like, like this is not a zine to me. This is like, maybe put this on Instagram, or like,
it's like a throwaway kind of.
It is. And it's like, I don't know. I'm also like, I guess I'm reading this and I'm like, I wish I was reading a Johnny Ryan comic right now, because I feel
it feels like Johnny Ryan. Maybe.
Yes, and like
I could see that, because this is not what I think of when I'm like the story that I've dog-eared was more like where I think I saw the evolution happen. Yeah,
it does kind of get better
up till that point
as it goes. But this like
kind of bunk.
Calling this a zine to me is like, again, in a world where people were sending off for interviews and creating international communiques for various subcultures, and then like something like this is like, this is not the same thing. This is like, and I don't know.
It doesn't really stand up to that kind of stuff.
I'm a bit on a fucking tangent here, so you'll forgive me. But like, I don't know. I guess I've been seeing the good thing I could say about Gen Z is I think they have successfully fucking taken that like mustache on the inside finger tattoo, like
that
quirk chungus millennial bullshit, and just taken that shit outside the woodshed and shot it in the head
to its death.
Absolutely.
Just destroyed it.
Yeah, this to me is like such like let me tell you where to stick it. Like, again, you look at Johnny Ryan comics and it's like it has the grit to like communicate it. Warm laundry. I'm going to have to wash these again. And a really great birthday cake. Imagine putting your dick in a birthday cake. So random.
This has that like that kind of like bro movie energy.
A little bit, where it's just like, I don't know, you can kind of flip to any random page and just like,
I mean, it really doesn't evolve for a minute, honestly.
Oh, wow. How on earth is that? And how did it get here? Lol, so random. This is a fucking Gen X writing this too. So I don't want to like millennials.
True,
Millennials are catching strays on this for sure. And this is maybe a little earlier than that. So, it's not, it is like, remember when Bob's Burgers first came out, it was like kind of exciting.
Yeah, it was definitely different.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like home movies. Did you remember that one?
Yeah, it was Lauren Bouchard is the same guy from both. I'm a home movies fucking like cultist.
Shit,
I will like poison myself and die for the glory of
home movies.
Yeah, 100%. And so, I'm not going to say Bob's Burgers was ever on that level, but there was like, I don't know, I knew people who watched it, and I watched the first couple seasons, and it was like, fun, and like, I guess maybe nice to see something that was a little more wholesome than like Adult Swim kind of stuff, but not quite like corny or whatever. I don't know, but like, you'll notice. Do you know anyone that still watches that?
No.
Yeah, it's gone.
I have no idea. I don't even know how there was a movie made.
It's because the fucking Zoomers fucking annihilated it. How do you hold that stuff up?
I don't know.
You go on the fucking your social medias and you got goddamn Muslim Sopranos and Screamo Family Guy, and like I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a big we're a lot of men of a certain generation. We're very loyal to Tim and Eric.
Yes,
we're locked in.
This was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's true. Also a Led Zeppelin cultist, so I don't know if he's trying to say that as like, hey, rock and roll.
I think
rock out with your cock out.
I don't know, man. I feel like he's actually, that's a real message.
Yeah, it is accurate. That is just true. Just FYI. I don't know if he's being serious about it, but I'm being serious about it. What is this shit, brother? What is this shit, brother?
This is where. Yeah, it's
again, and I just don't understand why we're calling this a zine. Like, what? That's not a zine. These are scribbles.
It's napkin drawings.
This is a generation gap. This is also, I'm like, I have such a loathing for LA. Just the fact,
I know.
That like when I see this shit and these, which I'll skip ahead. Yeah, he puts LA so big in his signature. It's like, oh, fuck you. Yeah. I don't like you. I made up my mind. I made up my mind early.
Yeah. You know what? Wholesale.
I'm going to let you rock, though. I don't want to just shit on this. I was like, oh, this is going to be mean. I don't want to just be mean in the first episode that we're actually showing people.
Well, at the height of all of the LA-ness of it, because I do think that we got to call a spade a spade. This is, I brought it to the table because it's just kind of like the energy that I think everyone has at some point.
Okay,
it's like that rawness. It's not, it's more the angstiness. Like I don't know.
And here's where I'm full of shit, because I'm like, oh, this sucks. It's like, yeah, motherfucker's got his names on like on one of the biggest cartoons of our fucking era. By just doing, and there's value in just doing. I mean, this is a reverse compliment sandwich where I shit on someone for fucking 15 minutes and then I give them a compliment. If you just do some shit will happen. And then you don't have to, obviously be that crafted or skilled or adhere to what some fucking weirdo says a zine should be. You can just do shit and it'll probably work out for you. So that's me being nice.
If we're going to celebrate it for being it, this is the height of it.
Okay.
This is where I think it goes at a sweet spot, and it doesn't ever like evolve from here. I think like the style is cool and people can connect to it, but there's not human stories happening. It's more of like this kind of like cartoony, comic-y element.
Yeah, and there's nothing, it's humor. You're supposed to make people laugh. You're supposed to be so fucking irony poisoned.
But this is where I think it does best, though.
And you definitely get the more this is the most like comic book style storytelling,
the more like straightforward comic, the most straightforward comic in the whole thing, because everything else is just like a daily drawing kind of vibe.
Yeah, and he's having like fun with this, conveying the idea of metal energy or whatever. Sometimes I wish when these portrayals, like you actually had to go to see a heavy metal show.
Yeah,
like it's depressing, brother. I'll go to see.
This is like
go see Voivod with 20 other people, and you're like, it's a fucking legendary band. Why is no one fucking here?
And this homie has this full. That's how you know it's a fantasy story. The room is full.
Yeah.
Black metal
people going
church.
And the boring black metal is live. Like, I'm not even going to speak on the merits of the music recorded, but live, it is just
man,
not a good time.
It's a bummer.
There's a reason Bathory was just hanging out in his room, like Cawthorn was just going off on his own. It's not meant to be.
The darkness is captured best when you're in that fucking dark hole.
It's loner.
It's loners. This is like a scene kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like this is what would you call like not to bring them up or anything, but like the Burger Records of like isms, like kind of how there was like this fervor for it, but it was sort of.
I mean, is it a frenzy, a mania?
Yeah, like a mania.
Yeah.
There's like this mania that I think, like Death Clock, I think was around.
Okay, this is like, that era.
This is that era. So I think there was this happening.
And it's a strange issue. The idea of like music and cartoons or music and comics, because it's like, on one hand, it just doesn't really work because, of course, like one is a oral sonic medium and the other is a visual, but there's still something like undeniably fun about it. I don't think it's ever been like captured properly because there's such a desire to turn it so to the extreme, like with a like Gorillas probably being like an apex example, and or like even that like Daft Punk anime, you know, where it's like it's so fun to see. You can kind of draw those.
It's like the metaphor almost.
Yeah, it's like you don't
as a metaphor.
Like you don't really want to draw a how boring music really is.
Yeah,
how boring black metal shows actually are. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you make it all fun and cool like this? Like
this kind of shit.
Instead of drawing, like, 40 fat guys standing around in battle vests, It's boring. That's a brick by fucking brick. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the creep cave. I mean, this is where our main guy, he's disillusioned with his scene, so he starts he goes out into the night, like searching for something to do, and he's like got that kind of like, I don't know, just that attitude of like, whatever, man. Like,
how do you feel about all this stuff in the background?
I like it.
Yeah,
this is actually this is why I think this is the peak of this whole thing.
Multimedia, right?
Yeah, and this is definitely watercolored. There's layers happening. I don't know if there's cutouts, but it's definitely different layers.
I think what bothered me was that like blur effect that they did, like it's like one panel, and this is just me being a fucking hater. Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's like, early digital bullshit. Yeah, didn't need to happen.
Yeah, but hey, listen again.
You know what? And then maybe that's another point. This was posted like on the blog.
Okay.
This was like for the blog. This is technically a web comic, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, so I guess you can kind of forgive the digital effects, but yeah, what's going on there?
Check that. That's definitely scanned and then blown up, which is wild. This is like kind of
a copy paste of that one
for sure.
Yeah, which is a real weird like
adding those lines. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like made for longevity or something, or really to be held up to scrutiny. It's just kind of like a fun, frenetic kind of energy. Right?
They were churning and burning on this one, and I think it was like either, I don't know if they were on that tip of trying to sell, for shows, because that's stuff that people were doing, even with Johnny Ryan and stuff like that. I'm sure this guy was looking at Johnny Ryan stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, with his stuff, there's just no commercial translation. He's a great cartoonist, and I think his art has been used in like kind of more all ages.
There's some
things.
Stuff.
I know Peter Bagg tapped him to do like one of his. There's like some DC comic he was working on, like an all ages comic, and he's just like, yeah, I'll have Johnny Ryan draw this. But it's like a very clean script. If I'm not getting confused, I
would love to see that.
We might crack into that one, but like it is, if you know, it's like, oh my God, this is not someone who should be put in it.
It feels illegal to have a Johnny Ryan.
Yeah, even if he's drawing, like fun, cool,
normal shit,
cutesy stuff. It's like, I know it's in your mind, sir.
This is like the parody on the edgy Lord kind of vibe. It's just a kind of, this is an Adult Swim short in a comic.
Oh yeah, surfing on because eventually cruises the comic out, and of course I guess the gimmick is it's like dark wave, right?
Dark wave.
This is like he's literally the wave and he's surfing.
I mean, it's so like, I swear this dude just kept that energy. He was definitely the fucking class clown, dude.
Right.
Back of the class.
And
this was like,
see, you can't have it. Yeah, can you? What are the fucking Zoomers going to tell you? Oh, you're a fucking millennial quirk chungus. It's like, motherfucker, where's your 15 season Fox TV show?
Yeah.
You got to do this shit. You got to live it.
Maybe this is him figuring that shit out.
It is
on the way.
Yeah, no, it is difficult to just be unrelentingly you, even if it is kind of annoying.
The fuck out of here. That might be the response.
Yeah, he's just enjoying himself out here.
There he goes, living life on the board.
I did think, as much as this is a little bit like Etsy-ish towards the end, I did think these book panels might have been like my favorite chunks of it. It's not too, because he is using these like pages from these books as a starting point, just that premise of beloved enemies. Okay, well, what do I do here?
It's almost like a drawing exercise.
And but it does like look good, and the color is great, and of course put against that like is there a word for that kind of paper?
It's the stock. Like parchment, or is it like paperback papers, or what is that shit? It's not newsprint.
I wouldn't call it chipboard or whatever, but it's good.
This is like, I think it is working on these pages, especially because it looks like Dr. Seuss style.
Or very, and I know this motherfucker is the right age to probably watch The Point quite a bit as a kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I, guilty myself, unapologetically.
That definitely feels like it, though. With kind of trippy, like, creatures.
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of like someone's idea of what the Freak Brothers look, Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers are.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all the hippie stuff, but that's very Point too,
That's so funny. It was LA. He's throwing up the LA.
Yeah, so much.
He's claiming it hard.
And it's like, I guessed. I would have guessed. I would have assumed, like, this kind of fucking
this is very LA.
Cutesy bullshit. Yeah, this is like, I'm going to like an art opening. You want to go? It's a pretty sick exhibit.
It's kind of rad.
He recontextualizes like
all of these Harlequin books.
Dude, it's like found art, but like he does his own thing with it. It's honestly pretty sick.
But check it out, man. It's like totally ironic.
We're going to like, and then afters we're going to whatever. I don't know
we're going to have apps.
I don't know what people do.
We stay home.
Yeah, I know. You're not going to get me to go to a fucking food truck.
This is pretty sick to me. This is a hand plant on a surfboard is pretty silly.
But like, do the skaters go for this stuff?
Dude,
like in reality?
I don't think you're. So it's not like. Do you know who Mark Gonzalez is?
Oh yeah.
He's the original. Like, this one is my favorite piece out of the whole thing. A shredding solo on top of a mountain for no one. Fuck everybody.
That's hard.
That's like just right. But as far as like people in the like skate culture, I think because he, I did get a little bit of that Charles Schultzy, kind of like has like that cutesy kind of tone, but doesn't land as hard.
Oh, I mean, you can't. I mean,
that's
what Schultz does with minimalism and expression. I could fucking wax poetic forever for.
This one's cool, but I mean, if you're a skater and you see this kind of stuff, you're stoked.
Yeah,
it's it has like that kind of like folk element to it, that it's like it's very primitive and outsider enough where I think it lives well in like the actual true skate culture.
Yeah, I never understood that about you people, where it's like, you fucking people,
you're skater you fucking people. Bullshit.
It's like, if you,
that's hilarious.
This is like all it takes to like get skater brain rot, is just like show someone.
This is for sure skater brain rot.
Like, you just show someone skating, or like have it be a skater who does it.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, it's actually fucking
gets
sick.
Legitimized and shit.
It doesn't matter what it is. Like, it could be music, it could be like,
that's something in the music side. I could see this as being like, he's one of us kind of thing.
Yeah,
because this has like on the latter half after the story, but this isn't to the level of like excellent. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I think skaters are just stoked on like freedom of expression in a way.
Yeah, I don't know them to be as much of a bummer analytic thinkers as I am. I think they go forth and they do,
Yeah, it's a
as a whole.
I think it's within the spirit of skating too.
Yeah, this has this.
Do shit,
this
think
has
about
that
it later.
go out and do.
Yeah.
Quality to it, but it's
kind of like tongue-in-cheekiness, I guess. Where I don't know if he's really making it for anyone but his friends. It's like how people. I'm not a real big Bill Murray fan.
Okay.
I think it's like I don't know. I just doesn't land with me. But him and Chevy Chase have always said that they make their comedy is to make their friends laugh.
Right.
They just imagine their friends on the other side of the glass on TV.
Yeah.
And that's their goal. And it kind of connects with like that lower common denominator vibe,
I suppose. And it is like, I don't know, I guess it's like surface level enough because all this mental imagery stuff, I'm just like, I want to be like name 3 bands on them, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, it kind of does have that like they probably just know King Diamond,
right?
Almost.
Like, yeah, you know, Dark Throne, Birds of Mayhem, and Call It a Day. But it's like, why are you so fixated on like
the imagery?
Yeah, it's like I don't know.
Maybe he thinks it's kind of funny because it is like funny to see the cartooniness. It's like kind of like shambolic or something.
I guess it's like I don't know, we're kind of past the point of like LOL heavy metal exists. You know, like that's a very, I mean, fucking Tenacious D, great example. Like that era of comedy where it was just like, imagine rocking and fucking rolling.
But actually, like, it doesn't feel like it's making fun of it.
Yeah, but this just feels like, do you actually like it for as much time as you put into this shit? Are you like genuinely interested in this
man.
music or... It doesn't matter. My fucking heart is.
It might just be like garbage
pail inside. Like, I'm such a curmudgeon.
Does this like maybe because it's lacking in message?
Right.
It's like kind of doesn't. It benefits in a way from not having a message. If you just, it's like, dude, don't think about it.
Yeah.
It's like,
for sure.
Yeah, this is candy.
It's just like it's going to connect with you or it won't. And I guess I've kind of made clear where I'm at with it.
So we're loving this.
You don't like Groundhog's Day?
Oh, actually, that's a great one.
What about Bob?
Yeah, I have. What about Bob?
Okay.
I mean, there's some Bill Murray things that are like, I just don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I don't know why it doesn't land with me.
Chevy Chase, I'm not going to begrudge you for. Actually, Three Amigos is a fucking.
Three Amigos is fucking sick.
Three Amigos,
but he barely does anything in that movie.
Damn, this is a real fucking hater. The real fucking hater. We'll be like, well, what about this? Well, of course that's good. But you really think about it, line for line. That is deep level hater shit.
I don't want to give it to him.
I don't blame you. I fucking grew up with that, like, you know, people tell me that fucking Funky Tut was like shit, you know, like, I don't know. I was like, coming kind of in consciousness during like the Chris Farley era of Saturday Night Live and everyone gaslighting me and telling me that fucking the Buckwheat sketches were like the peak.
Yeah, no.
And I'm watching some fucking modern slop. And it's like, I don't know. I think Schmidt's Gay is a better sketch than fucking the Coneheads. Like, you can't.
Stuff was, man. It was, Dan Aykroyd's a fucked up dude, man.
Yeah.
Has got some, actually, perfect point. Ghostbusters.
Hold on. Okay.
We gotta check this out.
I don't mean to get all James Wolfe here. That's it. NordVPN, guys. Tune in if you want to keep your shit. This is a shitload of fuck I'm hearing right now. Hold on. I'm going to let you rock. Do your thing.
All right, check it out.
You out.
Ghostbusters. Great film. But
that's all I needed to hear.
But Bill Murray, the interplay between Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, to me, and like the three-piece really made it. Maybe I just didn't watch it at the right time or something like that.
Him shitting on Janine is great. Like
that shit's pretty funny.
He's just he's like a bad person.
I guess that's what it is. It's like, why are we rewarding this bad person?
You're like a nice person. You're like a decent human being.
I'm like, dude,
I think like you'll
gets
like
his way.
You'll get in the muck from time to time, but yeah, him yelling at his secretary is like gonna rub you the wrong way.
That's where I draw the line, man.
You're such a decent person, whereas I appreciate just
it's a movie,
the cruelty of it all.
Yeah, but I'm just like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to like give it to this guy. I think he works really well in the Jim Jarmusch movies for me.
Yeah, which movies are those? You do Garfield?
Yeah. No, the fucking not Coffee and Cigarettes, but the later stuff. There's one where he's like looking for his long lost son.
You're off the deep end with this. You're deep in the Criterion collection here.
Yeah,
okay,
we're going. I'm
gonna have to rescind. I'm fucking talking.
I like movies. Scrooge.
Scrooge is amazing. Carol Kane, the goat. Fucking David Johansen.
Yes,
the goat.
Taxi driver.
Bro, that's goated.
Rest in peace. Man.
I think Stripes has one of the fucking funniest lines in all the movies.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
Why are you late, Private? We were training, sir. What kind of training? Army training. Okay. That's one of the fucking funniest single lines.
Is that Murray? Is that Bill Murray?
Yeah. He's like a shithead in the army. So that might work for you because he's an asshole, but he's an asshole to like higher ups at the army. Yeah. So that's a little bit nicer than him being a dickhead to his shrink who's just being obliging. Or
I'll give this guy a shot.
I feel like I'm hearing Bill Murray hate. But I'm not like seeing this backed up with a dislike of enough Bill Murray movies.
Maybe I just need to hit some more of them. I get that way with Leonardo DiCaprio too. I miss the boat sometimes with that.
I'm not too locked into Leo on anything. I guess I got that. He was in that. What was the last Scorsese movie? The
Native American one?
Yeah, this Portrait of a Killer Mood.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
Whatever that one was.
Something like that.
That was a fucking great movie. He was in that one, right? Plays a little prick.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he plays a fucking prick, it great.
Works.
Just have him play a little prick all the time.
Yeah, that's when it made sense to me. He does it well.
Yeah, geez, I got to think. Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm Leo agnostic. I'm neither pro nor con Leo. I don't have enough juice. And of course, I don't know. Mind you, again, I'm from the era where talking, making up rhymes about murdering Barney was like peak comedy on the playground, So anything girls liked, we had to hate. So girls liked Leo DiCaprio a lot. So there was I started with a baseline of fuck Leo DiCaprio. But I don't know where that turned. And at some point it just turned into Leo agnostic. But I can't tell you the bangers. Has he got bangers?
I'm not a big fan. I'm not sure. I know people enjoy The Wolf of Wall Street a lot.
Wolf of Wall Street's a banger. That's a banger. I'm not. Yeah. No.
And he does a super, super good job in that one
because he's an asshole.
He's playing type, and might be the type.
You just can't deal with that. These guys who are really good at playing assholes. You're just he's being mean.
I just can't handle
I would never treat an employee.
It breaks my brain. Yeah, I guess so. It's just
why is he screaming at the poor people?
This is. That just ain't right.
Hollywood, quit making movies that are corrupting my poor man over here.
I don't like it.
No, have them be nice. Have them play together.
Fucking Adam Sandler does it pretty well. They're assholes to some of those main characters.
Yeah.
But they end up doing something endearing or redeeming themselves in that way,
or just so far deep into the realm of absurdity that it's okay,
right? Then you don't take it that serious.
You don't need to get into class consciousness and Billy Madison. It's just
it just is.
He hangs out with Norm Macdonald all day. Yeah, they just do that.
And you just fucking hang around in this mansion, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's something I gotta dig deep on.
This is the last memory lane I'll leave everyone off on our debut episode. This is self-sabotage is what this is.
Whoa.
I'm this is the one we'll do that'll put it out there to the people and we'll broadcast who we are.
This might be the most divisive it's gotten. Yeah.
Our best foot forward episode, and then the last 20 minutes is just bullshitting about old movies. I use a fucking James Rolfe references. This is too much for me. When I was a kid, Simpsons was just dropping, and you can imagine how popping the playground was, season 1 of Simpsons dropped. Forget about it. Like, enthralled the entire world, and there's this girl in our class. And this is maybe like kind of where I started to see the cracks in organized religion. It's like a very, very Jesus-y girl,
Okay.
this is like what, second grade or something like that.
You're still very
I'm young, so I'm not going to she's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
This fucking dumbass comes up to me. No, we were in second grade, she's like, she was like, oh, I have this idea for a show. I'm going to do something like The Simpsons, but they're not going to be so mean to each other. Like, that's what I think their parents wouldn't let her watch the show because they were like, we're fighting as teenagers. And I'm just like, that's the whole fucking point. That's how families are.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's realistic.
Exactly. And I was like, these Jesus freaks, man. They don't know what time it is.
They're so like out of touch with, well, isn't it always like a reactionary thing?
Yeah, or I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just like if you are raised around like a stable home life, you're like, I don't understand.
Wait, what are you doing?
Why would he just wave his fists in his air at his sister
and choke his son?
This man is violent. That's like my idea of like, that's basically what you're giving me right now. Or it's like, why is Bill Murray being such a buffoon? This man is uncouth. He's being rude.
Oh, my word.
This is not how an employer should act.
But yet I love his like dramatic roles when he's like on the other end, still playing the same guy.
That's his whole bit, right? Is he wanted to be a serious actor from the get, but they just got...
Really?
Yeah. I'm like...
No.
Yeah, that's like his whole thing. I think there's some movie he put out in like the early 80s. My real film historians will be screaming at us right now, but he like finally got to do a serious movie and it just totally fucking flopped. And then he was like, all right, fucking fine. I'll go back to doing goddamn, his zone. But yeah, apparently he always wanted to be a dramatic actor. So when he does these more serio roles, it's like, wow, he's really good in it. It's like, yeah, he wants to be.
That's what he wanted to do. I think that's like his element, man. Or maybe that's just how I vibe with him.
Again, I don't know. When this conversation starts because you're like, I hate Bill Murray. And I'm hearing nothing but Bill Murray praise.
Well, like, it's just like, I wish Bill Murray didn't do those roles.
I wish he wasn't so mean. I just wish he was nicer.
I just wish, Bill Murray...
I still haven't heard a bad role other than...
Let's see.
Some of Ghostbusters.
I don't know. It's just, the comedy, it's like, when somebody's trying to be funny, and sometimes I feel like he's trying hard to be funny, and it doesn't work for me. I'm like, dude, I don't get it, like the tone. Maybe that's the spectrum of it all. Like I'm getting like.
I don't think anyone's ever said Bill Murray and trying hard in the same. in the same phrase.
Like, let's see, like how Bill Murray is known for being Bill Murray.
Yeah, the whole elevator gimmick and all that stuff. Yeah. That would annoy me.
Like the mythos, the mythology,
right?
And then you just see the comedy, and I don't know, man. See, maybe it's because I didn't grow up with it, and that sort of American comedy doesn't hit for me.
It is. I mean, it is. Deadpan, and well, now I just want to die. Like that is like a very specific brand. Why are we fucking talking? This is our.
Isn't this a comics podcast?
This is. You've been watching the inaugural public episode of the War. On Comix.
This is actually a war. This is the first skirmish, I think.
We talk about comic books only, and not Billy Madison ever.
Again. It comes up once.
We're only going to talk. This is mostly a Billy Madison podcast.
Very accurately,
we stealth Billy Madison. This is a Happy Madison production. So yeah, I think this is a fine place to stop. What's queued up next? Tell the people what they're going to see next.
So the next couple episodes are actually going to be audio only because this was done pre-video.
We're going back to the beginning.
The Stone Ages almost.
I trust you. I'll go.
So,
do it.
And I think it's an interesting place to start at because it's where we first. Kind of we're seeing each other's like tastes on comics and all that kind of stuff.
How long have we been doing this nonsense for?
This has been 4 months.
4 months of like coming in every week and chatting. Jesus.
4 months. So this is you're going to be seeing a real evolution in real time. We dive into some much better, the content gets better and better, in my opinion. In a weird way, I don't want to get too in the weeds in it. You'll see our analytical side get a little more analytical as we go on.
The analysis analyzes.
Yeah, and so I don't know if we made you want to buy these comics, or if you guys got some recommendations out there. But this is what we read this week. What did you read?
I'm excited to hear back from the people.
And actually, we have a long form edition that'll be kind of posting up with our Cerebus content.
Yeah, once we get there, start breaking out the old black and white phone books. We're going to crack into some Cerebus. Start chopping those up. In addition to doing smaller books, we're finding the balance. It's going to be a good time. I can't fathom anyone sat through the Bill Murray conversation to get to hear. If you did, you're fucking awesome. Thank you.
You are a real one.
Shall we? And I will give it to him at ease.
At ease.
Privates. He certainly will.
To the next one.
Ooh.